All right, we're gonna let all our attendees get in and get settled. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Super excited to talk about how we're gonna fill up this summer. Come on in, come on in. We got a couple more joining us. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hey, Tim. Hey, Liz. Hey, Karen. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Drake. Hope you guys are all doing well. Give everybody just one more minute here to join us, and then we'll get started. We are super excited to talk with you guys today. The three amigos here. We've got myself. If you guys don't know me, I am Vanessa Humes, the VP of Sales and Marketing here at ICND. I have been with ICND since 2009 somehow. And yeah, just really excited to talk with you guys today about booking the summer. And I've got two co-hosts with me today. Kara Kaczmarczyk, she is our Director of Client Success, and Paul Hannick is our Director of Digital Marketing. And I'm going to give them both a minute to introduce themselves, and then we'll get into this.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yep, as Vanessa said, I'm Kara. I have been with ICND for about a year and a half now, leading up the client success team. That is our key account managers and our support department. So once your website goes live, you come over onto my team, and if we want to make any tweaks or enhancements, we help you with that. We can also, if you have marketing with us, work with the marketing team and drive some strategy. And yeah, I'm excited to help you guys fill in those last minute gaps of summer so we can be all sold out for the whole summer.
That's right.
That'd be nice. That's the plan, right? I'm Paul, Director of Digital Marketing. So we do SEO, pay-per-click, email, and social media for our marketing clients, as well as looking at conversion rates and optimization and making sure your site is a booking machine. So I've been in the industry since 2007, doing marketing for vacation rental companies. And now that I say that and do the math, it feels old, right? We feel old. But learned a lot and glad to be here and share some of the stuff that I've learned over the years for you guys.
That's right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys introducing yourselves. So we'll get this party started. If I can change the slide. Let's see here. It's frozen. Oh boy. I'm gonna stop sharing for just a second and see if I can get it to re-go here. Technical difficulties. Bear with us for a second here.
Right out of the gate.
Right
That's
out of
okay.
the gate. I don't know how that happened. We were working and then we weren't working. So
It's funny as many times as we've done these in the past, there's still
just
weird
always that one time.
glitches.
All right, let's go ahead and reshare here. Go back to screen one here and slideshow. Awesome. Right. So, first up, we want to take a look at how everything is doing, right? So the summer is really up and down. There's just a lot of uncertainty. When we look at consumer behavior, everybody's really kind of sick of this word that we hear, inflation. And so in addition to that, everybody's really sick of paying higher prices for everything, including vacations. And so we've got some statistics here from Key Data Dashboard. And what we found out is that 89% of the property managers are concerned about an economic slowdown. We're seeing that 55% expect modest revenue growth in 2025. And that's really lining up with what travel industry is saying. I was doing some research earlier, and it looked like the AAA had about 54 million people traveling for Memorial Day, which actually is record breaking. So we're actually up 1.4 million US travelers. So there are still people vacationing, and that's great news to us. And so this whole webinar is going to be focused on what are those strategies that we can do to make sure that we're getting everybody who's visiting our website the opportunity to book, and how do we get them to our website too. So excited to talk with you guys about this some more. So are people still vacationing? Absolutely, they are. But like I mentioned, they're just traveling a little bit differently these days. They want to take vacations that make more economic sense. And so a lot of times what we're going to be focusing on is portraying our destination as that budget friendly drive to destination. Talk about how you can save money with pet friendly homes. So rather than paying for boarding costs, and there's always that little bit of anxiety on how is Fido back home, being able to bring them with you is a great alternative to spending the boarding costs. And additionally, you've got larger homes, so more people to spread out that cost. So people that are vacationing with friends, with family and friends, going in and getting those larger homes. And with those larger homes, a lot of times there's a lot of really peak amenities. And so really focusing in on the value of vacation rentals. So not to sound like an Airbnb or VRBO ad, but you've got more space to spread out, your own personal space in a vacation rental. A lot of times there's larger kitchens for cooking. You've got built-in amenities like game rooms and just the views and everything with the location of the specific property. So really focusing in on what matters to the people that are coming on vacation. And a lot of times what we have with vacation rental inventory matches their needs. And so I'm going to hand it over to Paul to kind of bring in the data here and show you what we're seeing and what's out there in terms of how people are searching, what we're seeing as far as demand, and what we can do about that. So Paul, let you take it from here.
Data. I love my data. These stats are from Key Data dashboard as well. So we've got 54, 20 at 54, 50, and 47% for occupancy. And it's been going down. Obviously we don't have 2025 yet, but we're still looking at that. So, ADR is kind of flat as well. And then the one main thing is the booking window. It's been shrinking. It's been shrinking for years. And, we just have to grit our teeth and just adapt with the times. And, there's a lot of speculation about the booking windows and how and why. But it's just one of those things that we're gonna have to grow accustomed to, unfortunately. Now, that's kind of different than just trying to get last minute bookings. We're hoping that some of the stuff in here will help boost you guys and get those bookings, but we are just in general, year over year, seeing less lead times for bookings. So keep that in mind. What I did is we always use Google Trends, and Google Trends is a free tool that you can use. Just Google it, Google Trends, and you can put in any search term that you want whatsoever. And you can kind of gauge it for your particular market, your particular area. Now, the good thing about it is it shows the volume of searches for particular keywords. The bad thing is you've got to manipulate it a bit to get graphs like this, which compare year over year a lot easier. So just looking at trends, just the keyword hotels, you can see in green is the 2025. That is the lowest, and this is January to May. And, it's hotels just in general. People are searching for that less. Next one is a vacation rentals, just vacation rentals. And we can see we're kind of finally catching up a little bit with last year, but still, it's been down overall, just people searching for vacation rentals. And, things change, things pivot. The booking window has changed because of Airbnb. So obviously, I'd want to look at Airbnb as well. So Airbnb, it's still down. People searching for the keyword of Airbnb to get to the Airbnb website, but you can see it has come up almost comparatively to last year. But this is kind of what all three of these have showing that lead time window is definitely changing, and a lot more searches are happening. And even even if that does catch up, it's still not going to catch up to overall. So we are in a quote unquote downtime, but it's a matter of getting those people in the door is the main thing that you need to worry about, and converting them.
Thanks, Paul. So now we're going to talk about those blockers. Why do you still have inventory open for the summertime when we're looking at the end of May, and kind of what we can do to remedy that to get that last minute traffic to actually convert on your site? So, again, why bookings might be lagging, we've kind of already addressed that a little bit in terms of, just the booking window has shrunk so much, but also, it's still pricing. We're not seeing those high prices that we were seeing right after the pandemic and kind of 2023. We started to see that shift of pricing adjusting back to pre-pandemic levels, and it's still shifting. So, that combined with the increased competition. Of course, there's more inventory in your markets, I'm sure. All of those things kind of collide, and it's the perfect storm of, what we've been seeing lately. And then tie into that, potential website issues. I think, what you'll get out of this webinar is a good exercise to take a look at your site to see if maybe you can make some last minute tweaks and last minute adjustments to kind of capitalize on what we've been saying, and capitalize on those guests that are still looking to book their summer vacation. So we'll talk about landing pages, specials, urgencies, a lot more in the next couple slides here. But first, talk about demand. Paul, want to take that one?
Yeah, more numbers. It's one of those things that, can you force demand? And it's a yes or no question, but there's a lot of gray area in there. But, with a common website with a conversion rate in the vacation rental space, I mean, 0.4% to 0.8% is the norm. Now, let's say that you can increase your conversion rate from 0.4 to 0.5. That's 25% increase, right? 0.4 to 0.6. If you make it frictionless, your pricing is right, you've got every tool that you need to make sure that they come back and do convert. I mean, that really helps. So, when we're talking about this stuff, it's not just about how the market's down. With thousands of visitors to your website and you've only got 0.4% converting, which is, again, fine, normal, depending on your site. You do want to up that conversion rate, and we got to figure out why, and some of these things in here are going to help that.
Cool. Yeah, so moving on to, again, saving the summer, like how can we capitalize on that, any spots or gaps in your inventory that you have for the summer, like let's get that filled up. I know you guys want to stop those homeowner calls from coming in saying, why don't I have a reservation for, X time frame? So just a couple of options here, and we'll go into details on that, but just an overview that we'll go into a little bit more detail. First of all, we'll talk about specials. We'll talk about travel insurance options, content on your site, flexible lengths of stays, and then of course, I don't think we can talk about it anymore, but pricing, and more pricing. So first off, are you offering specials? And if you are, how are you organizing them? How are they presented? All of the things kind of. So what you're seeing here is, details about the special. First of all, knowing that the property is available for the special with a little call out banner there on the property card. And then that hot deal is 2025. That's just giving all the details like when is it available? What dates? What percentage? How many nights do I have to stay? Is there a promo code? All of those things. One of the biggest issues that I see, as I'm working with clients on their sites is I'm looking at it and I see that it may be on special, but then, is that price? Is that the special price or is that the regular price? Do I need the promo code? Is that with the promo code? Is the promo code automatically applied? Like, help me help you here with getting these specials in front of your guests so that they're clear. And then there's nothing more, I think probably Paul's team, discourages as much as possible is the call to book the special. Why are we having them call? We want to have them book that online to Paul's, for Paul's team so that they can get that in the tracking. They can track that as a conversion. Also eases up, your reservation staff having to answer those questions. And it's just one more step for the guest. If all of those things are in place, can you shoot the next one, Vanessa? If all of those things are in place where it's clear what the special is, I know that the special applies for the dates that I need to come. I know that the price is with the savings that I'm going to get. I can see all that and I don't need to call you, and it's going to prompt me to want to continue on with the booking. So I think whether you use a promo code and have the guest enter it or the promo code is automatically applied, kind of your preference. I mean, personally, either one. Sometimes it's satisfying to actually enter the promo code and then see the price change. But equally as satisfying is seeing what you're seeing here in this screenshot where it's the strike through. So, okay, it was, $3,064. And now I know that I've entered the right dates. I know that the special applies, and I know that the reduced rate is that 25.72. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and book that. So those are some of the things that kind of make it just super clear, super easy, and not confusing. And it's gonna, you don't want it to cause so much confusion. Worst case that the guest is gonna bounce and be like, forget it, it's too hard, I can't deal, or and go somewhere else. So having clear, concise, and easy to understand specials is also is just a great feature there, great key. Next one, moving on, is travel insurance. So this is going to put your guests at ease. It's hurricane season if you're in a destination, that's by the in the hurricane path. Being able to purchase travel insurance, puts them at ease that if something happens weather-wise or whatever the travel insurance policy covers, that they'll be able to get their money back. One of the other key things that we have found in looking at user recordings of sessions is that help your guests find the information. So there's so many times where we've seen on checkout pages where a guest has seen the offer of travel insurance and it's nicely laid out, they either protect or decline, whatever, but they can't get more details. Like they can't figure out what it covers, what's the deal with travel insurance? I've never heard of that. How do I find out more information? So you'll see here that presents, this client presents a very clear way to get information on purchasing travel insurance. And then it doesn't hurt to give them a little nudge, a little push, a little, scare them off, scare them a little bit into, thinking something might happen, doom or gloom. If they do hit decline, most of our clients have an automatic pop-up that shows up, the "Are you sure?" Are you sure, Johnny's not going to break his leg and we're not going to be able to go on the trip. So just laying out further compelling reasons to purchase the travel insurance. So it just, gets that extra step in there to potentially have the guest purchase that, but also just putting the guest at ease, knowing that if something does happen weather-wise, they will be able to get their money back. Cool. Where are we? Yeah, content. This is also, an easy one. Seems like it's common sense, but it certainly is something that you can go through your site periodically to make sure you have all of these or some of these things in place. First one being, the trust signals, value propositions. If someone's on Airbnb or Vrbo and then comes to your site and is looking around like, who are these, where am I? What site is this a real company type thing? You can answer those questions a million different ways very, very easily. Encouraging the guest to book direct by saying you don't have any added fees, best price guarantee. They know that they're going to get that, capitalizing on the fact that you're local, that how long you've been in business, team photos, that they really begin to get a connection with you as a brand and as a company and say, yes, this is something that I feel secure in booking. I know that the property that I book is going to be as advertised, the photos are accurate, all of those things. To that end, reviews. Do you have reviews on your site? Are you using a review aggregator like Riva? We integrate great with them, so you can pull in your reviews from all of your other sources like Google or Facebook or Airbnb, wherever it might be, so that you can display all of those reviews on your site and kind of, again, give that peace of mind, that's going to get that guest to say, okay, yep, I'm in, click buy now and book that property. Another one on here, if you see the little screenshot at the top there, flexible cancellation policies. I know that, over the years in our industry, cancellations have typically been pretty strict, but we're finding that clients that have a great, super flexible cancellation policy, although that is scary and frightening because no one ever wants to have a cancellation or explain to an owner why a reservation canceled. Those units and those clients do better with those flexible cancellation policies. It makes the guest say, okay, all right, if I'm going to book it now, but I know that within a certain time frame or whatever the rules might be, I am able to cancel. And then advertising that so that the guest can see that they have that flexible cancellation policy. It's going to make it, reduce that friction to booking. They're going to be more likely to go ahead with it because they know that if something does happen, there is, a cancellation policy available to them. So that is another good one. Let's see. Anything, did I catch on everything there, Vanessa? Everybody good with that one?
So,
I know I've been cruising along here, so giving you a chance to interrupt. So another one here is we talked about flexible cancellation policies. What about flexible lengths of stay? This has also been an ongoing conversation, and depending on your market, your lengths of stay restrictions could be quite strict, or maybe you're in a destination where this typically doesn't apply to you. But if you are, Outer Banks destinations, typical beach destinations typically are Saturday to Saturday, Friday to Friday, or at least a 7-night stay during the summertime. I know some owners are very adamant about not wanting to back off of those minimums, but in talking to clients, we found that those owners and those units that do back off of their minimum lengths of stay are finding success. Those units are booking and they're getting heads in beds it might be for fewer nights, but if you have a competitive pricing strategy, your ADR may not go down that much if you're able to price it competitively so that you're capitalizing on that. The guest just like, hey, I want to stay 4 nights. If it's going to be a little bit more money, like that may be, what it is what it is. But I was recently on site visiting some clients and they were saying that either they've already reduced their minimum length of stay for the entire summer, or they're doing it kind of on a rolling basis. Okay, for the next 6 weeks, we've backed off the minimum stays, and then we'll keep doing that as we head out. But having that in play, I think you'll find success there, especially to fill those last minute gaps. And then also advertising that. You'll see here that one of our clients has a banner at the top of their sites, summer short stays are now available, and a call to action there to view those properties. And another way to show this to guests or users that just might not be familiar with your lengths of stay, on your date pickers on the property details page, when you select an arrival date, there's a way to block out all of the days leading up to the nearest next departure date. So if you click on an arrival date, you can say, oh, I can check out on 3 days later, or oh, I stay 6 days in this property. It just makes it easier for them to not get frustrated with your calendar and say if they put in a 1-night stay and they don't get anything, they don't cause them to bounce off. They're able to see right away that, okay, this property has a 3-night minimum. So yeah, just another great option there to back off those minimum stays for shorter booking windows.
And never assume that's the best part, right? Never assume that you know what they're looking for, because there's so much, we have so much data now on what people are actually searching for. We can record user searches on the sites, and that's the dates, that's the amenities, that's the everything that they put in, they filter by. And we can not only see popular weeks, we can see number of nights, we can see the number of properties that were returned, and the number of times that week was searched for. So, there's plenty of times just looking through the slide that's up here now, just scanning through the data, there's maybe this client doesn't have a 2-night minimum, but there were 51 people in the last week that searched for 2 nights. Is that something that you want to consider? Or maybe it's 3 nights, or maybe, it's they're searching for something that you will never have available, but you have a lot of those searches. So having that data is kind of the real reason that you want to make that pivot, right? And see whether or not you need to open up your dates, or you need to work on making your calendar more friendly, or just getting those holes filled. It's just one of those things that is very data driven, and that's what I like. So we have this available for any of our clients on any of our platforms, our booking engines. So if you want it, let us know, and we can get that set up for you. But this is huge, and it'll really help you with anticipating what people are looking for, and being able to help them out. A lot of things too with the zero search results. So you may hear that a lot if you've been to our other webinars, but if you have a lot of searches and there are no results found, then obviously there's something that either A, needs to be addressed. You need more inventory, which is awesome, or you might have something awkward with the booking process. So all good data to use and share and take action from.
And Paul too, you having data like this at your fingertips is kind of easier to have those tough conversations with the homeowner that doesn't want to back off of the 7-night minimum stay.
Oh
You can
yeah.
be like, hey, well, take a look at this. No one's searching for 7 nights, so you're not going to come up, and just kind of, encouraging them to tell them that your decisions are based off of data, not just a whim, and that may convince them to follow the path there.
Good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of data, a lot of data-driven decisions have to be made around your pricing strategy. And so we have used a lot of the data that's provided in here from our friends over at Key Data Dashboard. And so, like they mentioned, 83% of PMs are adjusting pricing weekly or more. And, having, number one, having the means to be able to see how your pricing is performing against your competitors is really important. We can have the best websites and the best pictures and the best reviews, but if you're priced way higher than your competitors, chances are we're not going to be able to get you the conversion rates and fill those gaps for the summer if your pricing is just out of line. And again, those awkward conversations with the owners to say, hey, we're just in this period where we're not growing rates like we were back in 2021 and 22. We've got to make sure that we're adjusting to what the market is saying and not just to what we want our pocketbooks to say, right? So we talked about, setting better rates. We talked about also a lot for the length of stay pricing. And also with the length of stay, allowing for those shorter stays. There was some data saying that people are just, looking to take maybe more vacations, but for shorter periods. So having, 3-night minimums and things like that in some of these peak periods is definitely where the trend is going in a lot of our markets, but also, enticing them to stay for longer, like we kind of talked about with the promotions Kara was talking about, like if you stay 3 nights, you can get 2 nights free, or you stay 5 nights, you can get 2 nights free. So helping to push them to the idea of staying a week with that idea that it's discounted, right? But also with our pricing strategy, we want to monitor our competitors. So monitoring more frequently is definitely something that you want to do, so you're not seeing opportunities, or you're not the first one to reduce your rates, but you're also not the last one to reduce your rates. And we don't want to get in the habit of reducing our rates for last minute bookings. We did that back in 2010, 2011. And what happened was we started training the consumer to look for those last minute deals. And a lot of times they thought that they could find those last minute deals on the OTAs. So in order to help keep that direct booking, keep that loyalty, we want to make sure that when people are booking ahead of time in January, February, or even around the holidays, that we're getting them to know, like, this is your best price. Let's get you locked in at the best price and availability then. But now that we're in summer, we've got to make sure that we're pricing it right in line to not be that last minute slasher. And also just to be careful that we're not looking for, or not participating in that race to the bottom. I've seen that personally. I'm from Myrtle Beach, and have worked with the Myrtle Beach properties for a long time. A lot of times without that data, it is a race to the bottom, and it becomes a challenge to come back up from that. So other areas like Destin, Florida, they have done a great job of like maintaining their rates and not slashing. And again, it does better for the economy when you're not racing down to the bottom there. And again, just getting it back up. And we're going to talk more detail about those messages that can help create more demand if possible in just a couple more slides.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so don't let the lookers leave. This is a great slide for me with my competitive nature. But there's a couple different strategies here where you can really capitalize on the traffic that's going to your site and getting that traffic to convert. We're going to go into more details, but cart abandonment, remind to book, and creating urgency and retargeting are all effective ways to do that. So diving into cart abandonment. So we all know what that is. You've put something in your cart, an hour later, a day later, you get an email to go and buy those jeans that you had in your cart, and now is the time to go get them. So we can do something similar with your website and your properties. So when a user gets, just hook to the next slide. Yeah, there you go. When a user goes to the site, they put in their email address on the checkout page and they abandon for some reason. They've got to leave. They're at work. They just can't do it then, but they've gotten all the way to that process. We have two ways of doing this. Number one is an actual email that I just spoke about, and you can set the timing on that, whether it's 24 hours, 3 hours, whatever it might be. Those emails are super targeted. It shows the dates you booked. It shows the photo of the property. The call to action takes you right back to the checkout page. So it's really, really dialed in. And those are quite effective, right? Another way to do that is with a footer abandonment. That's the photo there on the left-hand side. So think about it this way, how many sites does a traveler go to before they actually book something? So this is, and they may not even remember. They've gone to Airbnb, they've done a Google search and gone to 3 other websites, and then, a day goes by and they're like, well, darn it, I found this one property that I really liked. I forget what it was. They go back to your site and boom, there it is. It pops up right in the footer. You have one, pending booking or whatever it might be. There's a link call to action to go right to the booking page. There's a call to action to view the unit. When you mouse over that, it shows you the thumbnail, the name of it. You're like, oh yes, that was it. and you can go right back to it. It just makes it super easy so they don't have to recreate the search. They don't have to recreate, which property it was and try to remember all of that. Because they've been to 5 different sites, right? It might not seem, that big of a deal to us, but you have to remember, how much research and how much planning, these guests are engaging in. So the other thing that our sites can do is we track that. So that graphic you're seeing over there is, how many were booked directly, how many were booked from the email, and how many were booked from that footer abandonment. So those are great tools. They're add-on tools. That you can talk to your client success manager about if you don't have them installed. If you do have them installed and you have no idea how they're performing or what that graphic even looks like or where to find it, still reach out to us and we'll walk you through that and help you better understand the metrics, better understand what the email looks like. Could we reevaluate that and maybe get a better photo or change the content or make sure it's just at least up to date. Refining that is always a good exercise. You don't know how many clients that number one don't know if they have cart abandonment, and number two have no idea what their email looks like. So we can help you with all of that. Another one is I like to call this one the busy moms one, but I think Vanessa, you also want to chat about this one too.
Yeah, this is remind me to book. So, like Kara was mentioning, a lot of times what we see is that people that come to the website are coming through their mobile device and they don't necessarily want to book from their mobile device. They want to go home, they want to huddle around the computer, they want to look at the pictures bigger, they want to call their bestie and make sure the dates are fine, they need approval from their husband, whatever that might be. A lot of times what we'll see is that people just need more time to book, right? And a lot of these features are really just about gaining that lead. But a lot of times that pop up that just says, hey, give me your email address is not enough. We got to give them something in return. So this reminder to come back and book is very helpful for them. Busy mom of three, I need all the reminders I can take, to Kara's point. So this will pop up, it'll give them a selection. They can drop down and say, okay, when do you want to be reminded? 4 hours from now, I'm going to be home. I can talk to my husband, send me that email. Here's my email address. And then 4 hours from now, I'll get that email with a direct link right to that property that I can get right back to booking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we can also track the metrics on that as well.
For sure.
What that's doing. But another good use of this tool too, and you touched on a little bit, Vanessa, was if you've captured that email address, right? So either they don't go back and book it, or they've abandoned the cart or whatever. You can use those email addresses to reach out to them again and mark it and say, hey, are you still interested in coming to our destination? And like, here are some properties, whatever it might be, but you've got that data and you can then market to that guest in the future. Speaking of emailing, another great tool is last minute emails. These are extremely effective ways to engage your audience and get them to come back, to re-engage with your brand. I don't know about you guys, but I probably got like 10 emails from one company over Memorial Day weekend about their freaking sale,
Yep.
and how many hours were left in it. And I don't know how many emails I got about it, but do not be afraid to email. Offer discounts. We've run tests on, whether it's more effective to show the dollar amount saved versus the percentage off. I think Paul is firmly in the dollar amount saved category, but we can probably debate that later. But it's a good thing to A/B test, depending on the price point of your properties. Maybe if you have if your average rental is $10,000 a week, maybe saving $100 isn't that compelling. But if you are in a lower price point, that could be very effective. Other tools, offering unique check-in, check-out dates for those, if depending on when the holiday weekend is, again, that also speaks to flexible lengths of stay and things like that. Throwing in that urgency, booking fast or only a 48-hour sale, those types of things to create the urgency is going to be, really effective. Segmenting versus batch and blast, there's also lots of schools of thought on this. Depending on how well your data is organized and what kind of a CRM you use. I have always, encouraged clients to try it out. Okay, we've got a lot of 2-bedroom condos left for July. Why don't we pull a list of the last 3 years of guests who have stayed in a 2 or 3 bedroom condo and have not booked yet, or 1 bedroom as well. Throw that in there, depending on how big the list it comes back at. And haven't booked for July yet, or maybe they stayed in June, or just haven't booked for those summer months, and send them a targeted email. So the content of the email would be around condos and location, or what things to do in the area, but focus the meat of the email around the guests that you're trying to target. That's one school of thought. The other one is just, hey, batch and blast a special out there and see what you get back. Definitely, two different approaches there, and they both can be effective. So,
Same thing with last minute messaging is, proving to them that it's not just a dollar amount off. Sometimes that's not enough, but selling the value again to what you have as a vacation rental company with a vacation rental product. So a lot of times this is birth hotels. And so there's a lot of value in staying in a vacation rental company or vacation rental property. You've got larger homes, so more to share in the expenses of that stay. So, I can go and take a vacation with 4 other couples and divide that by 5, and it's a very affordable, if not less than a hotel. It's definitely very comparable. And so with that, you've got the cook-in savings. I'm able to have this large kitchen with everything I need to dine in. I've got a blender to make my, mom drinks in the evening. I've got wine glasses. I've got all the ice I can use. I've got built-in entertainment with the pool and the game room and the movie room and walking trails and fire pits. There's so much more to offer. And then also just the convenience of not having to share that with everybody else that's at the hotel. I've got my own private pool and I've got my own private entertainment on site with the vacation rental that we're staying in. Plus, nearby free activities. So some people will, partner with the companies that offer those free activities that are actually paid for, but you get, one free pass, and then the others may have to pay. But there's a lot of free activities out there. You've got a lot of hiking in the mountains and the beach, of course, the lakes, and built-in free entertainment as far as those attractions in the destination. So, thinking about how to promote that in an email. And then also, again, just to talk about pet friendly, a lot of times our pet friendlies and larger homes are the first ones to go, along with those that have hot tubs and pools and things like that. So it really does help promote that stay. And so again, talking with owners about their property and why it's not booked, thinking about these things, using that data that Paul just showed. Part of that data is also the amenities that are searched on your site. So you're able to pull and see, okay, we've got a lot of 2 bedrooms that are pet friendly being searched for, but not a lot of inventory. Let's call our 2 bedroom homeowners and let's see if we can make some more of those pet friendly to fill that gap and fill that demand so we can make more bookings.
yep.
Now let's talk about pay-per-click. the It's tough to say. It's really depending on your market whether or not you should or should not increase your budget for pay-per-click for last minute bookings. And the reason I say it's tough is because it's really dependent on the types of guests that you have to your market. Now, one of the key factors is, if you want to, we'll take Outer Banks again, for example. If you want to say and bid on keywords for Outer Banks specials or Outer Banks deals, rental deals, vacation rental specials, stuff like that, they don't convert that well. And the reason why they don't convert that well is because those types of people are looking for a very very budget type of stay. And those are usually super short, or maybe they're just wanting something like some from, I don't know, just a very run of the mill style of offering. So what you offer probably isn't aligning with that. However, just by increasing your budget and getting more people to the site that are just looking for Outer Banks rentals in general, that are probably coming, again, you would look at your search data and see when people are searching for. If they're searching for the summer and it's still, just after Memorial Day, if they're still searching for summer, then yeah, we can definitely up your budget, get more people to the site, and make sure that they are converting. So one of the things that is cool with Google Ads is even if you have a generic keyword, you can have promotion extensions, Google and Bing ads. And those promotion extensions are basically, it'll show you the special, X% off or X number of dollars off. And then, it does have to link to a specials page to show the full results, or else the ad will be disapproved. But those do have a high click-through rate. So, ask your marketer about adding promotion extensions as long as you have that criteria to do so. And one of the things too is, just because you up your budget, it does not necessarily mean that people are going to come and convert. Again, you need to look at what inventory you have available and look at the traffic that's coming from the pay-per-click campaigns to see what dates they're searching for. It is pointless to try to get somebody to pay money to get somebody to a site that doesn't have inventory. So it's not good for filling holes in like a 3-day window, or maybe you've got a weird awkward gap or something like that. When you do increase your pay-per-click, you want to make sure that you have enough inventory for whatever the majority of their searches are. So, if you have a lot still open for June, then yes. If you have a lot open for July, yes. But it's not for trying to appease homeowners and fill those random voids throughout different weeks, because you don't know when somebody types in Outer Banks vacation rentals. You don't know when they're looking. You don't know what they're looking for. It's just one of those things. Now you can get granular with it, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, you can definitely up your pay-per-click game if you have the inventory available, and it'll help drive those extra bookings.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Paul, like when you're talking about not good to spend on those just to fill those holes, there's, obviously email marketing, and having, if you have some of that type of like, our last 4th of July weeks available, that's a great email marketing, because you've got people who have stayed with you, have some guest loyalty to you, at least know your brand, and sending an email is not nearly as expensive as those pay-per-click.
Right.
But we also have extend your stay emails that can go out as well for those holes. And I don't think we put that on here, just thinking about it now, but extend your stay emails, those are really great for filling those gaps, because let's say I'm coming in Thursday through Sunday, but I'm really excited about my upcoming vacation and I would love to go earlier. And my husband already took the first 2 days off, Tuesday and Wednesday, to get things settled with, packing and the pets. And, I get an email saying, hey, you guys could come in early. We've got some time, or you guys can stay later. So that's what the extend your stay emails do. They look at a certain time period before your stay and after your stay to see if there's any gaps to be filled. And we'll send an email to those surrounding reservations to let them know, hey, you can extend your stay. You can come in early or stay a little bit later and enjoy our property a little bit longer.
But you have to pay for it, Vanessa. Those nights aren't free.
They're not free, but sometimes they'll give you a good discount.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you maybe, okay, it's normally $500 to add on that extra night. We'll give it to you for 300 for the night, or whatever, whatever it might be, like to get them to because it's gonna sit empty otherwise, and the cleaning costs probably won't increase that much. So you might as well try to eke out that last little bit of revenue that you can.
That's right. But continuing with the pay-per-click journey, talking about where we're taking them to, you know, Paul and I always talk about it's when we see maybe some competitors doing pay-per-click and they drop them off on the home page, it's not the greatest user experience. So if you're doing pay-per-click ads for a certain special, to Paul's point, you want to take them to that specific landing page that has that promotion running, A, so your ad goes through, but B, just to help that user get to where they're looking to be and not lost on the site. So whether it's a pet friendly ad or, you know, looking at just your homes with pools or homes with hot tubs, taking them to a specific page that has that specific inventory filtered is really the best way to do it. And then with those specials, if you can go ahead and auto apply the promo code, like we talked about with the cross through pricing, here's another example of it. So, you know, rather than having to question, is this pricing with the promo code or do I have to add the promo code? Just go ahead and have it auto apply. And I think that that's probably makes the best user experience to go ahead and show that cross through pricing so they can see those savings.
Yep, agree.
And then we've got some content that inspires. So I kind of went through some of our Facebook and Instagram and social media clients and just social media that inspires me too. So, you know, when you think about like, can I create demand? I think that social media is probably the best place to start to try to get people to dream, want, desire, inspire to come to your destination. And here's some tips on how to do that. Communicating upcoming events. Coming up in a few weeks, we've got the CCMF here in Myrtle Beach. You've got, they just had Sand in My Boots down in Alabama. There's all sorts of, you know, concerts and events and in the shoulder seasons. Certainly they have like sporting events, but this summer, you know, I'm sure that your local area, it has a bunch of festivals and concerts and things like that, food, arts that you can be promoting to help connect with those visitors. So create a blog, link to that in your email blast to help promote those upcoming events. Promoting your drive to destination. I know for us in Myrtle Beach, it's like hitting the Charlotte and Greenville and, you know, anybody who's within a 4-hour drive to, but also you've got, you know, a lot of people who will drive from Ohio, New York, PA. And so, you know, promoting the drive to destination, promoting the direct flights, cheap direct flights. That's another great way to get your destination. That's a great way to segment your audience to you know, now direct flights from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So come on down and see us. But also with the social media, you've got the inspiration with the imagery, getting them excited about hearing the ocean, that family time, that peace, if they're looking for peace, the message of you deserve a break. I mean, the world is burned out right now. Everybody is working so hard. We're working from home a lot of times. That means like no interruptions many times. We're just grinding it out. And that does lead to knowing that you deserve a vacation. So, you know, that value that we're going to make it affordable for you to come have an amazing reconnection with yourself, reconnection with your family, reconnection with your pets, whatever that may be. There's just so many ways to create that content to evoke those emotions and get them to book. Also, if you're, you know, a big repeat, so maybe somebody's burned out on your destination, maybe it's talking about some new experiences that they can try out, new food, new attractions that have showed up, hidden hiking experiences, hidden locations that maybe only the locals know about. And then also videos or testimonials, reviews that connect what you're trying to say, so they can read that and be like, oh, you know what? That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that well-stocked vacation rental that we can come together, enjoy, going down to the local seafood market, picking up our favorites, cooking them, and having that great family and friend time together. So get creative. I really think that like social media, get somebody who's creative. Tim at Seaside Vacations, I'm gonna give a shout out to him. I love their social media page. It really gets me excited about visiting their locations, trying the foods, seeing what the local atmosphere is about. He does a great job of doing this, puts in a lot of time and attention to it, but also the impact is really big. So hopefully we'll be able to pull him on a webinar here pretty soon to talk more about that. I have volunteered him for that, but just as a little teaser for maybe some upcoming summer content for you guys. But don't give up hope. I really feel like, you've got the atmosphere, the environment, the experiences to get those people excited about coming to your destination.
Yep.
So now we can recap. What have we learned? Let's sum it up.
Yeah.
So just a few final takeaways here is, the temperature's just heating up, and don't give up. So we want to make sure that we're monitoring our pacing, get into your key data dashboard and your pricing, see how you're comparing to your competitors, see how you're booking compared to your competitors, check out those market trends, reach out to your local chamber of commerce, see what they're hearing about what's going on in your destination. Don't forget to message value at every touch point. It's going to take more than one touch point to get them excited about taking a vacation. So whether that's hitting them about the pets, hitting them about the promotions, hitting them about family time, change it up and get those messages out there. Make sure you're adjusting your prices regularly. Make sure you're monitoring regularly. Make sure you're looking at your pay-per-click ads regularly, making sure they're doing well. And then think about how you're going to target those last-minute bookers. Is it going to be through an email campaign, promotions on your website, promotions through social media, retargeting ads, all of the above? And think about what you can do on your website to remove that friction, looking at your data that you have on your website. Where are people most likely falling off, and what can you do to improve that? There's always room for improvement on your website.
Oh, and Nate just gave you a shout out, Vanessa.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Nate.
Well, he gave it to everybody, but I just wanted to tee you up. All good. Yeah, no, that's we covered it all.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you staying on here, hearing what we have to jabber yap about today, and hope you had some good key takeaways from this and can get that summer book. Keep your head up. It's not too late. We're just hitting those first weeks of summer, so we got plenty of time to do well and keep those owners happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, you can always hit up our website, icnd.net, for more information. Reach out to the sales team at sales@icnd.email. Give us a call. We look forward to having more chats with you and really appreciate you joining us with this webinar. Thanks, everybody. Take care.